Hey survivors, welcome back. At the end of July 2024, we saw the launch of 7 Days to Die version 1. We have had many weeks of players being absorbed in the vanilla game. However, there is a particular group of players religiously playing vanilla. A group that, after being deprived for many years, is now happy to get their grubby paws on the game. Of course, we're talking about our console friends. Yes, many of you players are here watching this video owing to the title or the thumbnail, with hope written all over your face. Xbox and PlayStation players finally caught up with the PC, but of course are eyeing out the next thing that is available to them. Mods. More and more console players getting bored of vanilla are starting to eye out something that PC players have taken for granted for many years. Many Xbox players are looking over the fence and starting to notice the green grass of player-made content that changes the way the game looks, plays, or how it behaves. These mods can range from simple graphical tweaks or additional guns, or full-on overhaul mods like Darkness Falls and Undead Legacy that make 7 Days to Die quite a different game. Looking over the internet the past few years and whether mods are coming to console for 7 Days to Die or not, I see a lot of possibly, maybe, no, yes, and comments like, well, if Fallout and Skyrim got mods, then I'm sure 7 Days to Die will get mods. I mean, isn't an Xbox just a PC anyway? Doesn't that mean it's just a matter of time? So in the context of 7 Days to Die consoles, I've tried to answer the question as best as possible, especially as numerous console players are starting to watch my videos and understandably see the great work that modders are doing, and they want some of that. However, console is a different world completely, and unlike PC, the Xbox and PlayStation have many hurdles of annoying problems that need to be overcome if 7 Days to Die will get mods. For consoles, one of your first major differences between PCs and consoles is the system architecture. PlayStation and Xbox operate in what's called a closed system. This means the hardware and the software are tightly controlled by Sony and Microsoft. In contrast, PCs are an open system, where players have much more freedom to modify files and install mods. On a PC, you can easily tweak or replace game files because of the fewer restrictions. But on consoles, these systems are locked down to prevent unauthorized changes. It also means modding becomes a huge challenge. Then there is another barrier, certification. Every game and every update on a console has to go through a certification process to make sure that it meets the platform's standards. So, introducing mods, many of which are made by independent modders, poses a huge problem. Sony and Microsoft would need to vet every mod for safety and compatibility, which would take a lot of time and resources. So there needs to be ways around that and to overcome that problem. And then there is performance. Unlike PCs, where players can adjust their settings or upgrade their hardware, consoles are locked to specific specs. Mods can be unpredictable. Some will demand more processing power and memory, which could cause consoles to lag and crash. As much as 7 Days to Die has had pretty good reviews from console players, performance has been an issue. Even look at the Xbox Series S, which can only afford to host 2 players in co-op. So where do the devs draw the line, and how can they ensure that this is not going to be a problem?
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Cool Whip on pie. Pie tastes better with Cool Whip.
Here's another tricky part, licensing. Mods often include content created by other companies or artists, and this can end up violating copyright laws. On PCs, this is, well, a grey area, but on consoles, Sony and Microsoft have to play by strict legal rules. Any mod would need to be carefully reviewed to make sure that it doesn't infringe on copyright or licensing agreements. So imagine the legal nightmare of managing hundreds of mods out there. Lastly, let's mention platform rules. Both PlayStation and Xbox have their own guidelines for third-party content. External files and modifications can be seen as a security risk, so the manufacturers restrict this kind of access. Allowing players to freely add and remove mods would open the door to potential exploits or even piracy, which is something that Sony and Microsoft obviously don't want. So in a nutshell, getting mods to work on console is a complex issue. Bringing them to PlayStation and Xbox would require a huge amount of work and coordination between the fun pimps, the developers, and the console manufacturers. Let us not forget the modders themselves, those people that are actually doing the mods. They also have an uphill battle owing to different platforms. While both Xbox and PlayStation use similar AMD-based CPUs and AMD GPU hardware, PlayStation runs on a variation of Unix called FreeBSD, And Xbox, well, it runs on Windows, or at least a version of Windows. This means that any mod interacting with the game's files, its memory management or system, might need different code or adjustments for each platform. Certain features that work on one console may not work on the other. For example, controller inputs or networking functions or achievements and trophies would behave differently between Xbox and PlayStation, and they would require modders to make adjustments. If you think Undead Legacy was taking a long time to develop, imagine poor Subquake trying to do it for 3 different platforms. The poor guy would probably die of old age before he could launch on all 3 platforms. So you can see the uphill battle. However, let us take it that maybe these were overcome in some way, because, well, we know that mods do eventually end up on some console games. From chatting to various modders, the mods we have today are likely going to be separated into around about 3 categories for 7 Days to Die. First, there is the basic XML, or the server-side mods. For example, you join a server and the mod changes the size of your backpack from vanilla size to, say, 100 slots. Second, there are the mods that also use XML, but then they have custom assets. For example, a new custom user interface may use its own icons or custom artwork, and those resource files are something that would have to be downloaded onto the console or the PC first. Guppy Kerr is a modder in the 7 Days to Die community, very well known and respected, especially among the modders themselves. He says that server-side mods certainly make sense. Any mods pushing resources like new blocks and weapons would require a local install, and the fun pimps have hinted they won't be pushing binary files. So these are probably out of the question. Then finally, you have the third category of mods that change many aspects of the game: perks, attributes, new weapons, tools, and of course, they include custom code like C#. Speaking to the modders and Fatal, a FunPimps developer, they agree that XML server-side mods are probably likely at some point. However, mods with resource files will also be a problem and will certainly be on the lower chance to be implemented. Unfortunately, it is the third category that I've been receiving the most questions about: Overhaul mods. For example, console players wanting to play Darkness Falls, Undead Legacy, or Apocalypse Now. Kane, the man behind Darkness Falls, said that the FunPimps have stated any mod using custom assets or custom C# code will never be on consoles. I asked Fatal, a FunPimps dev, about mods, and his comment was, code mods would not even work on console as the C# code is converted to and compiled as C++ by Unity during our console builds. So there is no C# code to apply mods to. Most of your Overhaul mods use C# code in some way, so Darkness Falls, Undead Legacy, or Apocalypse Now, they use C#. They are out, no chance. Along with the problems of trying to get mods to be allowed on consoles, your Overhaul mods are going to be completely out of the question. Unless Kane turned Darkness Falls into a mod that was not Darkness Falls and stripped all custom code out, the only way console players are going to see Darkness Falls is if they watch it in a stream or join the master race and buy a PC. So, when can we expect a very limited number of mods to be available on console? Well, there is a reasonable chance that this will happen when crossplay is achieved, and mods will then maybe be allowed. According to the FunPimps roadmap, this could be at the end of this year, 2024. Though note the comment at the bottom, something that we mentioned earlier. It is possibly being subject to certification. As another well-known modder put it, B-Dubs, from the Wasteland mod or the unofficial Fallout mod, he said, I could see XML mods being an option for console, but I would be real surprised if anything more than that is offered. 1. Tons of PC mods run custom code, and I don't think that will be allowed on console from what I have heard. And 2, consoles are struggling to handle the base game as is. Adding more content like items and whatnot would only make it run worse. So, the only mods that are available are basic XML mods, where you can download them from the server, and these are very, very basic ones. So when you play, the mod will automatically download and run. Hopefully, regarding mods, this gives you a more concrete idea of what to expect on consoles. Unfortunately, as far as Overhaul mods are concerned, they are out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.